Now, Sir Keir Starmer is in Washington, D.C. ahead of his first meeting with US President Trump in the White House later. The Prime Minister has already reiterated his call for a US security guarantee as part of any peace deal in Ukraine. Donald Trump says it should be Europe, not the United States, that should be responsible for Ukraine's security. Sir Keir Starmer, says that he wants to strike a new partnership with the US, calling Mr. Trump a friend of the UK. Our political editor, Chris Mason, is following the visit.
Well, hello from Washington. You know, we've only been here a couple of hours and already we've been to the British Embassy. Why? Well, the Prime Minister headed straight there from the plane to be greeted by someone you might just recognise, Lord Mandelson, the new ambassador here. Foreign Secretary David Lammy was there too. Why? They wanted to woo members of the Trump administration who had been invited to a drinks reception. And take a look at this. This is diplomacy in action. The Prime Minister, a Labour Prime Minister, saying he reckons he's got something in common with Elon Musk, the billionaire working for Donald Trump, who just recently was handed a chainsaw to try and demonstrate his ruthlessness at cutting through bureaucracy.
We want to strike a new partnership. We share the view that our best days lie ahead. And, you know, taking out a chainsaw isn't quite my style, but we are stripping away red tape and bureaucracy.
Let's hear next then from Lord Mandelson, who was making the case that the UK and the US have always been super close and should continue working really closely.
I wouldn't say that we are being encircled by our adversaries. We're certainly not, but they're doing a little bit of ganging up. And that's what's going to need us to be working hand in glove, shoulder to shoulder, even more than we do usually. And we're going to be doing it at a time when you have a leader in this country, in the President, who in my view is going to be a very consequential president for this country indeed.
So that big meeting for the Prime Minister with the President just a few hours away now. Ukraine, the Middle East, trade, artificial intelligence, so much on the agenda and a huge amount at stake.
Chris Mason for us there. Well, our North America correspondent Merlin Thomas explained more about Sir Keir Starmer's message for President Trump.
We heard that Sir Keir Starmer called President Donald Trump a close friend and said that no relationship was more important than with the US. The relationship between the UK and the US, that very special relationship that has been so far emphasised between the two countries for so many years. And this line that you heard that Sir Keir Starmer said, that actually he is stripping away red tape and bureaucracy, is almost a plea to the Trump administration that actually we have a lot more in common than you think. We have, we're coming to closer ground with you. And so Sir Keir Starmer is saying, we've cut back on foreign aid, we are upping our defence spending, and those are two things that he will be able to use as leverage and things that he will say to Sir Keir Starmer as a plea to say, actually, we can meet halfway on this, and hopefully for Starmer, he'll be looking to make a deal. Sir Keir Starmer's meeting really comes at a quite critical juncture for both the UK and also Europe's relationship with the US, because he's sort of sandwiched in between two meetings. So earlier this week, we saw President Macron visit the White House, and the photos that we saw were very chummy. The two leaders, President Macron and President Trump, were very flattering towards each other. And then we'll see later this week, we're expecting to see the Ukrainian President Zelensky, arrive in the White House as well. That's expected to take place on Friday, according to President Trump. And that's with regards to the mineral resources deal that is being worked on and negotiated, and we're still yet to see the actual details of that. And so Sir Keir Starmer's visit really comes in between those two things. And so will he be able to capitalise on what President Macron has already done in terms of relationships between the US and Europe? And will he be able to have any sway on what happens with the US security guarantees in Ukraine? Really, Sir Keir Starmer is trying to reclaim a role in the world order that President Trump really seems to continuously be upending.